Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, episode 8. What? Who am I? Who? Every time. Is it even episode 8? We don't know. Episode 8, the calm before the storm. You guys, I'm so sorry this video is late. As you can tell, my surroundings have changed. I moved. I'm still in the Inland Empire. It's a transitional space that I'm in right now until I can get myself my own place. And for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Wah. I do recaps of relationship reality television such as Love After Lockup, 90 Day Fiancé, and Married at First Sight. Guys, I'm not gonna get to Married at First Sight. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna find the time to watch a 2-hour program. 2 hours. And it's not on a day off, like, and it doesn't come out early and I just can't get access to it. Am I gonna have to get Hulu? Like, where is it playing besides regular Lifetime television? And who has regular cable? How are people watching this show? I mean, this is not even the video for that, so thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This episode was half and half boring. Ben gave me life this episode. So glad that Hamza and Memphis weren't in it. So glad we didn't have an opportunity to see them this episode. And if you guys agree with me, go on ahead and drop the Tunisia flag in the comment section. Okay, let's jump right into this episode. First couple that we're gonna talk about, Ben and Mahogany. Yay! Oh my God, they should have called his segment Tall Man in a Little Ass Bed. That is my first memory. Not the memory of him crying in the parking lot like he isn't a 52-year-old man with 4 kids and an ex-wife of 24 years, but like he is a 24-year-old heart-sick guy who doesn't know how the world works. This man got on a plane to Peru, dressed in the mortician's finest, to meet a woman who told him minutes before he got on that plane that her father didn't trust his intentions and therefore he shouldn't come. The fact that she waited so long to tell him, the fact that all of a sudden her father is an issue in this relationship, none of those are red flags for Ben. Ben got on that plane and then got off that plane and was shocked. I mean shocked that Mahogany wasn't there. At this point, we're seeing a person hold on to an idea that everyone told him was stupid. We're really seeing a person grasping at straws here. He's at the designated spot that I guess they agreed to meet upon, but I'm like, how did you guys go so far as to agree where to meet in an airport? I mean, has Mahogany been to an international airport that many times to where she's gonna know where to meet you? That is crazy. If somebody were to be like, hey, I'm gonna fly into LAX to meet you, let's meet at the parking lot, I'd be like, which one? And no. What you're gonna need to do is get into a taxi and I need you to drive about 2 miles away from the airport and I'll pick you up in the Denny's parking lot. But what I am not gonna do, and believe me, I love you, is drive into LAX International Airport Tante. Okay, Aeropuerto. And pick you up. You're a big boy, figure out a way to get out of that airport. He's standing there for 20 minutes and it's a no-go and he's crying and all he wants to do is go to the hotel and lay down and then take a shower and reevaluate. So he does that, but he can't even lay down because that bed is so small for him. It's been 24 hours and he hasn't heard from her. And a cab driver gave him some good advice. A cab driver said, just call her. And he's like, no. I can't call her, but what I'm gonna do is show up to her city and just walk around the streets yelling her name, hoping to find her. Because this is God's will. Yes, the devil has thrown up the barrier of her father. Yes, the devil has thrown up the barrier of her being so incredibly shy that she refuses to video chat with him. But this is God's plan. Spend all of his money in Peru trying to find Mahogany, who clearly does not want to be found. Like, my question is, at what point does he realize that this isn't God's plan and that this is what he wants? How do you know what God's plan is for you? I have so many questions. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Kimbali and Usman. So we wake up the next day with these two fresh-breathed talking to each other. Usman, who I assume normally sleeps in his underwear, is asleep in a robe or wakes up in a robe. And she's like, good morning. And he's just like, good morning. And she's just like, how did you sleep? I'm so happy that you're still here with me in the morning. And he's just like, don't look at my body. So he gets up to change his clothes and he's like in a mirror and he doesn't want us to see this part of him, which is, I guess, so sexy in some cultures. You know, some people find what was happening from his neck to his navel, I guess, like wildly arousing. So he changes from his boxer briefs and puts on some shorts and he leaves. He goes back to his hotel room, but she says that the glow you see on her face is due to the fact that this man spent the night with her. And she is one step closer to better solidifying their relationship and understanding exactly where it's going. She also tells him, you know that you hum in your sleep? You know, you sing in your sleep? It's so cute. Could you imagine Kimberly just like watching him sleep? Could you imagine her just like waking up in the middle of the night and staring at him sleeping? Creepy. Usman then goes back to his hotel room and he starts to pack up his things. He realizes, him and a producer who he's working with, realize that it would take the storyline up a notch and it would make Kimbali happy if he moved into the same room with her. But he's still under the guise and auspice and rules of no hanky-panky until we decide. But staying in the same suite is gonna allow us to get to know each other and it'll make, again, Kimbali happy. So he tells his homeboys about this, Slim T and Badmus, and they're not with it. They really want him to be clear about his intentions and what it is that he wants. And he says, no sex. Me and Kimbali, we understand. But to be in this room with her will make her more comfortable. I brought her here to be with her, to understand if we are good together. So Slim T and Badmus are both like, okay, whatever, you're grown. Is the PS5 gonna stay here? Or he gets all his stuff together. He goes to stay at her room. She just thinks he's coming again for the night. But when she sees his luggage, she's so happy. She's got champagne ready. She's got some kind of supposedly sexy lingerie on. And then there's like a moment where she opens it up and she's like, you like that? You like what you see? And I'm like, what are we seeing? What are we seeing and what are we liking? The silhouette isn't giving what I think she thinks it's giving. I feel like she probably looks sexier with just all of her clothes off and like a little like moment, you know what I'm saying? But like this Valentine's Day nightie that she got from JCPenney's is not doing it for me. You know what I'm saying? It was giving me very much introductory level lingerie. It was giving me very much something that your Midwestern auntie gives you at your bridal shower 35 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't giving me Savage Fenty. You know, it wasn't giving the girls what the girls needed, okay? She's like, I'm not begging you for sex. I don't want sex, but please come over here and have sex with me. No, I'm not begging you. What is my son gonna say? I said to myself, Kimbali, are we about to have a conversation with your intended about how him not wanting to have sex with you is going to upset your son? And then Usman gets mad because Usman's like, who is your son? Okay, I am the man of this household. He is my son, okay? So I don't have to prove anything to him. Our relationship is between you and me. And she's like, well, my son is gonna feel some type of way that you don't wanna have sex with me and that you don't wanna be my boyfriend. And it's been me and Jamal my entire life, okay? And he's gonna be a part of this relationship too. And you need to have respect for that. And he's like, listen, if that's gonna be what this is, then I'm out of this whole situation. I don't need to be with you, I'm good. And she's just like, Usman, don't leave. And he's like, no, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I don't want to hear anything about your son. Your son. Truthfully, Usman is only 7 years older than the son. Yeah, a lot is going on. A lot is going on. A lot of weirdness is occurring and we are just privy to it. We're trying to work through all that we're seeing. I don't understand why you don't want to have sex with me. I don't understand. Am I not what you want? Haven't I done everything I was supposed to do? He tells his friends that she's really loyal and that he's been really impressed by her. But at the same time, that doesn't make a wife. I mean, it maybe in your culture it does. Like maybe in Usman's world and in his culture, he needs the older practical wife. Like maybe he's trying to build some type of harem where he has different women to fulfill certain needs in his life. He's like, Kimberly is loyal, she's thoughtful, she's motherly, she's giving, she will help me organize my books. She will buy me presents. I think I'm gonna keep her as a first wife. And then his second wife will be fun, will be young, will be energetic. She won't have any kind of sense of how money works, but she will know how to dress that ass. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what Usman is trying to do. He's auditioning Kim right now and she doesn't see that. And so she keeps begging him for sex even though the girl is saying she's not begging him. She's like, I need an answer by the end of this trip. You're not gonna have me up here looking stupid. I can't do this filming anymore. Let me go. And then he says, okay, I'm leaving, give me my stuff. And she's like, I'm not bringing you your stuff back. Just come back, Usman. Just come back, please. Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Please, okay, I won't talk about it. Okay, are you okay? I won't talk about it anymore. Come on, girl. So the next couple that we are gonna talk about is Ella and Johnny. So in this segment, not that I could remember, we didn't have any Johnny, but we did have a lot of Ella, and we had a lot of Ella on the ranch, and we had a lot of Ella on the ranch wearing a hat that I feel like I want her to get her money back for that hat. Okay? So Ella has got her dogs and they're on the way to the ranch to do some work. I'm assuming it's the weekend. Did we ever find out what Ella does in general? Like what her day-to-day work is? So she's talking to her mother. And then we meet an older man who I assume is her grandfather. It is not her grandfather. It is her mother and her father. And I have questions. I would like to see a picture of them when they were younger. I would like to... Are they in some sort of arrangement at this point? Every time Ella's mother spoke, it was like I wasn't understanding the voice that was coming out of that body. I'm always so interested in everybody's couple dynamics and like what that looks like. So Spella is over. I keep calling her Spella. I'm stealing from Chris Farah. So Ella is at the ranch talking to her mother about what her and Johnny are planning on doing, about Johnny's hesitation. Her mother is like, see, I told you he wasn't worth your time. And Ella's like, you know how I am. I have to go with things all the way to fruition. I can't just quit now. And so I might be buying a ticket in 2 weeks to go to Dubai to meet him there. And her mother's like, does he not even know where he's flying into? He's coming into Idaho Falls, which has a really low rate of the COVID. And also coming out here to BF nowhere. Like, we really don't have COVID here. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to meet him halfway and see if that makes him more comfortable. Her mother's like, well, I don't want you going to the Middle East. That's not a good place to go. You're a white woman, you're naive. And the dad's like, yeah, that's not a place for you to go. And I said to myself, do these people think that she is being dropped off in Yemen? Do they think she's going to like Aleppo? Did they hear Baghdad? She said Dubai. Did they hear Baghdad? Yes, there are going to be some cultural differences in Dubai in which you can Google. But Dubai is like the Las Vegas of the Middle East, okay? Dubai is relatively safe for travelers, especially white travelers. Girl, just do some research, get on that plane and go to Dubai. But then her mother's like, but how are you going to afford that? And she's like, well, I'm almost 30, and so I would like to ask my parents for help. More help than they've given me. I'm like, girl, stop talking about you being almost 30 and as though like that's some kind of magical threshold for when you're going to start your family, when you're going to have kids. Like it may be indicative of the area she's in. Like maybe she's used to people getting married at like 22 and 24, you know? But 30 seems young to me and 30 seems like she has time. But if she feels like she doesn't for fertility reasons, then she needs to make the best choices for her and for what it is that she wants in the future. But I don't think Johnny's sane reluctance to come to the US is anything worth breaking up with him for. I did not take any notes, you guys. Next couple that we are going to talk about, Mike and Ximena. We're right off the heels of Ximena explaining to Mike how disgusting he is and how she's not going to take it. Mike tells her that he has ADHD, which is causing him to be so messy and disgusting. Right after he finishes blowing his nose and getting all up in there, and then folding it up and putting it in the back pocket of the driver's side seat. And she's like, no, you can't do that. This is not your car. You can't just leave trash there. He's like, well, there's no trash can. And the woman's like, can you hand me a piece? Do you have a little bag or something? He's like, yes, I do. Hands Mike the bag so that he could put his snot tissue in a bag and not in the backseat of somebody's car. Y'all, what does this have to do with ADHD? You didn't forget that you left the snot rag there. You put the snot rag there. I get it. I feel like I know people who with ADHD, but they all manage it in different ways. And I imagine it manifests itself differently in other people. But compound with the fact that Mike is probably used to someone taking care of him, his ADHD is like not acceptable. He really does feel that her being upset about these little minor things are not a big deal. Because if love was real, then love would prevail over that. Like, people get love mixed up with human behavior. Like, I could love you the booze house down, but not want to live with you. I could be in love with you and possibly deal with the belching and the farting. But at some point, I'm going to need you to change that. And that is a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of mixed reviews on that in this world talking about 90 Day Fiancé. People are like, so what if he belches? And I'm like, because you belch. You belch. You don't just like... you bleh every time you get an opportunity to. So I know why you're fighting that. As well as the farting. Like, when you get comfortable with somebody, for sure, but not when you're on top of them making out. I hate that argument that if you loved me or if we were really in love, these little minor things wouldn't matter. No, they would matter when you're having to live with somebody and deal with that, because then you could easily fall out of love with someone who you think is nasty, especially if you've asked them over and over again to remember to pick their clothes up off the floor. So I'm with Ximena 100% on this. They get back to town and Mike wants to plan a romantic dinner for her and the entire family, in which he's planning on proposing. She is worried that he's gonna actually propose because she doesn't know what she's gonna say. And her father wants to have a conversation with him. So they get their own scene where the father says, you need to learn to speak Spanish, okay? Because you don't know her favorite color. You don't know what kind of food she likes. So you're saying that you really love her and you love the kids, but do you? I don't want you to be like their fathers. So if you're gonna do this, if I'm gonna give my blessing, then I need to know that you're gonna do all the things that you're supposed to do to take care of my grandchildren and my daughter. Mike agrees. I know the boys see me as a father figure and I'm willing to step up and do that and be the person that she needs. And so the father says, okay, and gives the blessing because he says he believes that Mike is a generous and nice guy. But the problem that Ximena is having is that she doesn't know if his slobby ways will change and if she'll ever be able to get over it. Her family's like, well, if you see him trying, then he's trying. Take it from us. Like, he's doing his best. And you have to think of the boys and their education and all the opportunities afforded you in the United States. And she's like, well, I'm not trying to go there and be his maid. He's not cute enough, and she's not as in love with that sexy time in order to overlook some of the things that he's doing. Her mother is like, look, I didn't even cook until I met your dad. Your dad is the one who taught me how to cook. It's all about wanting to learn. Ximena's like, I don't know. So then Mike has a conversation with the boys. He asks the boys if they would be okay if he married their mother. Boys are like, I don't know. What? I'm too young to have this conversation. I don't know what you're asking me. I've never had a father, so I guess if you want to be my dad, that'd be cool, but what are you asking me? And I said, Mike, why are you asking these little boys this? Who set you up to do this scene? She must have signed off on this conversation, so she knows that Mike is planning on marrying her. Because it is wildly inappropriate for him to just pull two children aside with a bunch of camera crew and have a conversation with them about how they would feel about Mike being their father. Also, I thought Harold's dad really loved him and talked to him every day. I'm confused. The next couple that we are going to talk about is Gino and Jasmine. My gringo bonito. Gino and Jasmine have made it to the island of San Jose, and I would like to make it to the island of San Jose. Apparently nobody actually lives on San Jose, it's just only for tourism, and it looks so beautiful. And Jasmine is so happy that she starts to cry tears of joy and tells Gino that she's sorry for the behavior that she's exhibited the last couple of days, and she's happy that he has been okay with it to a certain extent, and she wanted to apologize and tell him that she loves this trip and thank you so much for it. And that's the one thing I do like about Jasmine. Jasmine will always tell him thank you, then she'll act crazy, but she will apologize, which is low-key like it's like a tactic. What is that? It's like an abuser's tactic, like to be crazy and to do all this stuff and then backpedal and apologize and apologize and apologize, but then still be crazy and do all this stuff. So she recently got reached out to by one of Gino's exes, and that ex was trying to tell Jasmine that Gino still communicates with her, and so she was sending something, but Jasmine trusts Gino and she immediately blocked this person. So she didn't see what was coming through. She asks Gino about it, and Gino is like, I talked to her, and I told her that it was over. I need dates, Gino. When did you talk to her? And I probably did some things that I shouldn't have done. And Jasmine's like, well, I want to see the conversation between you and her. In fact, I'm gonna unblock her so I can see what she tried to send me. And so then Gino's like, I regret what I did. I shouldn't have done that. And this is gonna blow up in my face. And so Jasmine goes, Gino, did you send her naked pictures of me, Gino? And then the episode ends. You guys. We don't get to see the reaction or know what happened, and we have to wait to next week. And I thought this was a perfect cliffhanger. Not that it makes a difference in the grand scheme of things, but at first I thought he sent those nudes to his friend. And the idea that he sent the nudes to the ex-girlfriend to somehow boast about what Jasmine is working with feels different. It isn't. It's wrong. But it's like he was doing it from a place of like probably wanting to show off, which is still wrong. But I don't know. Personally, I would feel more violated if he had sent it to a man. I'm just like, I can't wait to see what he says. I mean, this man is like audibly gulping. Like you could audibly hear the like, Gino, what did she send me? I did a bad thing. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Let me know what you thought of this episode down below. You can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the comment section, or you can give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down on the like part. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to share on any social media platform that you deem fit. And I will see you. Oh, did I talk about Love After Lockup? Girl, I didn't even talk about Love After Lockup. Girl, I didn't even watch Love After Lockup. I'm behind. This move has got me all helter-skelter. I will go live this week to talk about Love After Lockup. And again, I'm gonna try to talk about Married at First Sight, girl, if I can find it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.